Hello everyone, welcome to Drop Frames here at PAX East. I'm JP McDaniel, joined by the rest of the crew, as well as DJ Wheat. Let's just ask some questions first off. Who here has seen Drop Frames? Like, who knows what this is? Okay, cool. All right, so we're gonna do a little bit of a longer intro then. Zeke, why did you just run across the entire, like, who are you and why did you do that? Are you a crazed person we just let come in here?
Sort of, but I'm lovable, which makes up for a lot. Sorry, I have to catch me. Okay, my name is Zeke the Third. I've been streaming on Twitch for a little while now, and the reason why I ran across the room is because that song. I use that song from Nitro Fun, or excuse me, New Game by Nitro Fun. When I get like a sub, you all know what like a subtrain is, right? When I get a subtrain in my channel, like I turn on the music and dance around like a moron, just cause I can. So that's why I was doing that. Can you do someone else first?
There's nothing moronic.
No, you ran around. That's why I did that.
Zeke.
I'm like out of breath, man. But yeah, I'm just crazy, loud, obnoxious streamer on Twitch, and I love video games, and I love doing this show. We talk about things that affect people who are involved with Twitch, and that's important.
There you go. Perfect. I'll let you catch your breath.
Thank you.
Thanks for running around like a crazy person. The other normal host here is CohhCarnage. Co, can you tell everyone who you are and what you do on Twitch?
Sure. My name is CohhCarnage. I've only been streaming on Twitch under 2 years now, just under 2 years. I'm an everyday streamer. I'm on day 510 as of today. Thank you for that. It's been a real ride, and Twitch has opened doors that I didn't know existed. It's been absolutely phenomenal. So, met up with JP a few months ago. There's a lot of similarities. Threw me the Drop Frames idea, and as one of the first kind of shows of its type, I couldn't say no, and it's been absolutely awesome ever since, and here we are.
Cool. Last but not least, our special guest for the panel is none other than DJ Wheat, old friend of mine. And now, what is your stupid title they give you at Twitch?
My stupid title is Director of Community and Education. I also handle all the programming at Twitch, but I've been streaming for now almost 15 years. And that's thank you. That goes back to the times of audio and before we even have video. And yeah, I'm old and I'm proud of it. But I was one of the people who really tried to make this happen, as Ko said, try to open doors and create opportunities. And let me tell you, it wasn't easy. In fact, it wasn't easy until Twitch came around. So I'm happy to have gone from, streamer to now a person who helps open those doors and create more opportunities for streamers. I wished I could have been here for the era, but I'm just happy to be a part of now the true era of it exploding and getting bigger, and watching all the amazing stuff come out of it. So, cool. Thanks for letting me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. We'll start off with you. So, kind of every week on the show, we just talk about what we've been doing. We're all pretty different streamers, the three of us. Like, he's like the full-on entertainer. I'm like the show guy, and he's kind of the data-driven, entertaining streamer that just streams too much.
Yes.
Basically.
The good
that's
vibe
CohhCarnage
community
like in a
guy.
nutshell.
Yes, there we go.
So this was your first PAX as like an actual host for
Yes.
Twitch. First convention ever doing that, right? So like, what was that like?
Pants-shittingly terrifying.
I heard you got to interview Ken from.
Oh my God. Now, okay, let me just prefix.
Just prefix it, Zeke.
Let me just prefix this.
Or
Now,
suffix
listen, let me just preface this by saying my first PAX was PAX South. That was just recently, and I went there and tried to make as many friends as I possibly could because I was just so super jacked to finally like put names or put faces to names and stuff like that, and got back into the partner area, which I wasn't sure if I was supposed to go back there or not. Honestly, because a lot of partners are like, "Am I? Is it okay for me to be back here?" And I did the same thing. I was like I snuck in, but I started walking around, started making friends and stuff like that, and eventually they said, "Hey, what do you think about maybe hosting at East?" I was like, "Sure, that sounds great. I'm in. Tap me. It's great." I had no clue, absolutely no idea that they were like, gave me the schedule in the morning when I got here, first day. They're like, oh yeah, you're gonna be doing like 5 things, like 5 different segments. You're gonna be interviewing this guy and this guy and that. And I went, whoa. I was gonna do like one thing and then, hang out for the rest. I'd be like, oh no, you agreed. Do you remember when you said you agreed? You have to do this now.
Was that Marcus saying that to you?
No, it was Jordan saying that. He's like, no.
I told John to say that.
But yeah, no, and I was just scared is all. But it has been fan-fucking-tastic doing this. And I got to interview Ken Levine, the brains behind BioShock, which is like my favorite series. I fought to get the interview, and it was a man versus game, and which made it, a lot easier. But that was intimidating. It's like this guy's one of my heroes, like game-wise, like it's my favorite series of all time. Also got to interview the guy from Hotline Miami 2. He was the marketing guy, but also one of the developers, creators of the game, came late, and I got to meet with him, hang out with him, and it's just been a fucking dream. It's fucking great. I'm really excited.
So when it comes to like looking for streamers to do what Zeke did when it comes to hosting, are you guys actively watching streams, or how are these people chosen for something like this?
So
how'd you end up with this asshole?
I know, right? That's what I said.
I think Zeke actually is an interesting example because like we had the PJ Sultan. Yeah, when I say interesting, like Soma always says that that's bad when I say interesting before anything, but I don't think so. I think it's very interesting he says that. John Carnage and Soma, they work a lot on the programming that we have at Twitch and that we do at all the cons and all the all the different shows that we do. And we help out with that. And we're always thinking about wanting to include more broadcasters, more streamers, and that kind of thing for a multitude of reasons. First, it's a great opportunity. Second of all, like, it's really interesting, and this is something I'd love to hear from you guys about, but I come from a background where, I mentioned that I was audio only. So we focused a lot on, like, a radio style of broadcasting. And that radio style of broadcasting kind of, for me, led to hosting and commentating esports events. So, being in front of a camera, doing like live type of engagements, that was sort of something that came very natural to me. And, streaming, of course, is a totally different thing, right? Like you're in your studio or in your bedroom or you're in the basement or whatever, wherever you are that you stream. And it's a totally different environment when like you are on a stage in a large convention with a lot of stuff going on and a production team behind you that's barking in your ear with 20, or 25, however many people right next to the stage, it suddenly becomes a totally different experience. And we found that like in a lot of cases, streamers aren't like totally acclimated to that experience. So, one thing that we hope Twitch can offer, not only for giving these types of opportunities and like what we do in the future when we have more partners like helping with that type of content, is that we can like offer assistance in that area. Zeke came to me and said, hey, I want to sit down and talk with you about what I can do better. And I'm like, great, because we've been talking about, maybe bringing some broadcasters out to Twitch and doing like training where it's like, okay, we're going to practice things like just intros. Because we feel like learning that and getting educated on that will benefit your personal streams anyway, right? I mean, it's just like you're sharpening all of your skills. Sort of the talent and the content creators of Twitch are so amazing and innovative, and I think there's just like different skills that you can teach them from traditional content creation that will benefit and help them. So I know that was like a really long answer to kind of a short question, but we're constantly looking at streamers and streamers that ask us if they it's something that they can do, and it won't stop there. So good job, Z.
Cohh, yeah, good job this week. Cohh, you've done some stuff that
That sounded sincere, didn't it? Right?
Yeah. Sorry. Go fuck yourself. That was sincere, by the way. You've done some stuff that I haven't really seen streamers really do, and you started reaching out to devs, and you're streaming from their booths at this event, and I haven't really ever seen people do that. So, like, what was that process? How did that get started?
I've streamed since I've been here the last 3 days over 12 hours from the show floor. in 3 different places. And it's the kind of thing where, well, first of all, my challenge played into a lot of it. And the Intel sponsorship, part of my Intel sponsorship is actually streaming from their booth for some parts of the day. But then, these days, and this is kind of playing into something me and you were talking about earlier, JP, developers are just now starting to understand Twitch and understand what it is and how powerful it is, and more importantly, how untapped it is. How there's all of these resources that are right there that no one's really taking advantage of. So if you kind of approach some of these developers with a professional mindset and you kind of come up and say, hey, let me tell you how us working together could benefit us both a lot. And some devs just kind of, whatever. But other devs, like for instance, the Gray Box guys, the Play Dreadnought crew, they'll sit down and start listening. And all of a sudden that little, one question turns into a couple-hour dialogue. Right. And all of a sudden they're sitting, they're bouncing ideas off you that you've never even thought of. You're telling them things that their kind of eyes are going wide, like, oh, we can do this? Like, this is something we can actually do? Like, you'll stream our game and thousands of people will see it? And, we can talk about early access. And it's just been a fantastic dialogue between this newer emergent kind of system that Twitch is and these developers that are frantically looking for ways to get their name to more people. Yeah. So, like, for instance, with the Dreadnought guys, we came, they brought my entire stream team in. We were doing 5v5, like, there were lines around the entire booth, and they were like, come play the Coalition. We were streaming on the Play Dreadnought channel. They set us up so we could all individually stream on there as well. I mean, they just went so out of their way to show us that they wanted to work with us that, it's the kind of thing where, we have the Daybreak company, which is a great example of a company working with Twitch and really kind of getting in the trenches kind of thing. And now you have the Play Dreadnought guys who are now, like, okay, well, let's talk on Skype. What else can we do? What can we do for you to make this a better relationship? And it's really been fantastic. It's a very exciting time for this stuff.
Yo, streamers, this shit's the future. No, I mean, for real, it is.
Welcome to the future.
No, I mean, like, right? I'm one of those people that, I had GamePro and Nintendo Power and EGM delivered to my house, right? That's how I got my video game news, right? And then the IGNs and the GameSpots came around, and that's how I got some of my news. And then the gaming blogs came around, and then like after that, what happened is Twitch came around. And like, I don't care what anyone says, and I know I work for Twitch, so I sound like a total biased asshole when I say this, but like, what is happening on Twitch with you guys is totally changing game journalism completely. Oh, yeah. Like, I don't read anyone's reviews anymore. I don't. I go and I watch one of you guys. Like, I just like, oh, this game came out, sweet, let me watch and see how it is in 3 hours. And I think this is like, they can reach more people that can even enter their booth, in these 3 hours that are being streamed. I think that it's a huge value add. And, I think that more people should get on that train.
Yeah, I think developers are starting to like have their eyes opened by people like Coke. We were talking with Blizzard yesterday.
Yes.
And they were even public, or even saying go in public and like say that we spoke and that we're going to be actively working with streamers in the very near future for things like Heroes. And I think we all played Overwatch. Did you play Overwatch?
I didn't.
Okay.
I was busy.
Yeah, you were doing the hosting stuff.
Well, also, I'm not supposed to talk about that.
So yeah, I think that you'll see a lot of game developers, especially after the success of something like H1Z1 on Twitch, where everyone bought it because they saw the famous streamers playing that and they enjoyed what they were watching, and now that game's successful probably because of Twitch.
That's a big part of it. And it's really incredible to see companies that have the amount of influence that someone like Blizzard does. I mean, that's a station in the gaming community. Everyone knows what Blizzard is. And to be here, and me and JP are at the Twitch booth, and all of a sudden one of the reps is like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? They pull us into a back room, and we sit down for almost an hour.
That sounds so shady. It wasn't.
No. I mean,
cigar smoking.
You want some of this Overwatch
Let
shit?
me tell you something.
We lit up cigars and talked. No, but it's the kind of thing where we sectioned off to where we could actually have a discussion. It wasn't just like a casual conversation. We sit down, and for almost an hour, I mean, we're talking about what Blizzard can do, what we can do, and how we can help each other, and we're going over ideas. And I mean, this is Twitch directly interfacing with Blizzard. And this is the kind of stuff where, the kind of stuff this guy hears, he will take back in a meaningful fashion to people who can make big decisions about this stuff. Yeah. So right now, we're on the cusp of a whole new generation of this kind of thing. And it's just now getting started.
So you've kind of been the maybe not publicly, but I know you're one of the major brains like behind TwitchCon. You're always talking to streamers and whatnot. When you come to a place like this, when you come to PAX East, what do you take away from an event like this where you're like, I want something like that
I
at
mean,
TwitchCon?
it's funny because I've talked with about sort of, we've talked a little bit about TwitchCon, and I mentioned I've been talking to some streamers and stuff, and one of the things that really came from Coh's conversation, which is evident from what he just said, is that there is like a huge need and want for just sort of developer and broadcaster relations. And I mentioned it if you were at the Twitch Town Hall last night, that's like one of the major things. Connections are important to us, and these connections are obviously being made, but honestly, we want you to be able to make the connections so that when you go to a PAX, you're able to do what Coh does rather than go out and chase connections. So, I mean, I kind of tie it back to that's one of the major things that I hope we can accomplish at TwitchCon, is that we want to be able to put developers and broadcasters in touch so that like we're not necessarily always playing middleman, because guess what, we don't have to, and in a lot of cases it's helped out, and in a lot of cases people have just gone out and been able to achieve these types of things. But I really hope, like I think that like I said, I think this is the future. I think that it's really important to establish these relationships, and if I could have it my way, and like, I know I'm going to get in a ton of trouble for saying this, but if I can have it my way, I would love every single area that you walk into at TwitchCon, have an employee from that company who is wearing a shirt that is like a purple shirt that identifies them as like an individual that any streamer could go to and be like, you're the person I can make that connection with in
exactly
order to
what we
like
talked
start.
about.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's exactly
like, right?
what we
so,
talked about.
like as I talk more streamers, if you are a streamer or broadcaster, if that's something that would interest you, I definitely want to know, get reinforcement behind that. Again, your guys' opinion is really important as well.
Well, and to tie it back to what we were talking about earlier, about how you guys were saying that sometimes people just don't have the tools to be in front of people, like Zeke is clearly very experienced and good at. But some people aren't really that good. They don't have those tools, and it's the same for making these types of connections. A lot of streamers are very entertaining. They're great streamers, they have great communities, and they're great people. They have no experience professionally talking to people. They have no experience networking and finding these other people. And a lot of times that can really stunt the growth of somebody who would really have gone a lot further under the right situations if they would have known how to conduct themselves in those situations.
I feel like you just submitted a TwitchCon panel, Coh, so I'll be looking forward to that one.
We can talk.
So, quick question for the crowd. How many of you stream? Whether it's professionally or just for friends or...
Awesome.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
So, for everyone else that doesn't stream, I'm going to throw you on the spot. Why do they come to TwitchCon?
Well, I think that there's a lot of reasons. Like, I would like to believe that there is fan and broadcaster connections to be made as we see at these events. I mentioned it last night, and it's also about like interactive experiences. So what kind of things can we do at TwitchCon which would allow then fans to maybe like play games with you guys, or maybe even like get up and like have a chance to like, broadcast with you or be a part of something. I do think you said it too, like, content that people can't see. This is a live, like, basically show version of the show you do on Twitch. Like,
right.
It can only happen at a con, right? It's a different atmosphere. It's a different environment. It's cool. There's like, it's awesome when there's like crowd and panel interaction, and maybe we can like let that go to the next level. So, I hope that between content that you can't see and being able to make those connections with broadcasters that you enjoy, or to potentially move from a viewer to a broadcaster. And, I think that if you're a fan of Twitch, that you're going to have a good time there.
And when do tickets go on sale?
Shut up.
Did you catch your breath?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
I'm feeling good.
Okay.
No, I'm honestly, I've told people this before, like when I meet, like people viewers of whoever's channel, they know who I am, or came up to me. I'm a fan first, man. I was enthralled. I was watching, man, because this shit interests me too. Like I was saying, I'm sure I've said it to many people. Like after the show with Total Biscuit, 2 days later I went out and got my YouTube channel up and going because it fucking motivated me. And that's what I want. That's what I want this show to do. I want people to be motivated, get tips, get the best advice and stuff like that. And I take advice from this show as well because I am still learning and still changing and still finding the best ways that suit my idea for what I want my channel to be and what I want my experience with Twitch to be. These guys spend a lot of times, and this may be sacrilegious, and so don't get me wrong. I fucking love video games, okay? I love them. And we all are here because we love video games. But I come here for this shit. I've said this a few times. I come here for human interaction, connection, like-minded individuals, gathered in one place. And that's I understand a lot of people who are go into developers and stuff like that. I've had the most success in my personal life by doing that with other like Twitch people, the viewers, and all that kind of stuff. Getting together with those guys and saying, "Hey, introduce whoa, stop, introduce yourself to each other, and start a conversation. Here's my card. Here's your card. I will contact you. Maybe we can do something. Or he has exposed me to tons of different games that I would never have given a shit about. And I end up loving them, and it does good things for my channel. I connected with him, and I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons on a regular basis, which is my favorite thing to do. So that's how I do it.
Yeah, we got one coming up on the 14th. Excited to do that. I'm
killing
so
wildlife.
I will bring you back to life. But anyway, so somehow. But to kind of touch on that, and I think this actually kind of addresses the question JP asked DJ Wheat is, why would people that don't go or don't broadcast go to TwitchCon? And something you just said is extremely meaningful in that regard because the commonalities of the Twitch family are just absolutely incredible. What I like to say is, when I come to these cons, there's the con and then there's the Twitch booth. And when you walk into that Twitch booth, and the first time you see a couple faces you recognize, it's like being at a family reunion. There's broadcasters that I have never met in real life, that if I see them, I will walk up to them and give them a hug, and I know I'll get one back, and we'll start a conversation. I've never met these people. In fact, I barely even interface with them generally. And it's the kind of thing where that shared kind of, when you meet someone and instantly you have 60% in common with them. You have shared vision, you have shared interests, shared likes. And that kind of experience is what drove me to keep coming back to PAXs after my first one. And TwitchCon, the whole con is like that. Everyone you're going to see at TwitchCon is going to be a Twitch person. They're going to know what Twitch is. They're going to be there experiencing the same stuff you love, and in our cases, we do every single day. So it's going to be a really interesting experience to be walking around this large area and knowing that every single person you see, you have something in common with that there people in the world generally some don't even know exist.
That's true. Yeah. So one of the other things that streamers come to this for is to see games and games that they would possibly want to put on their stream. So we'll go down the line. I think we're going to do questions as well at the end. That's a big part of the show. Which column is it for questions? Is it this one for people to line up in? We'll figure it out after that. Okay, they're figuring it out there. So what have you seen at the show that you think you're going to throw up on your stream?
I saw actually a lot of the indie games. There was a couple that I actually got a chance to play that really cool. Oh my God, I forgot what his name. It's the claymation one that I did today.
Claymation.
Anybody remember what it was called?
The claymation game?
Yeah, it's a clay stop motion puzzle game.
Sounds awesome.
What's that? Yes, Army Croc.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, no, and I interviewed the marketing guys for that, and they showed me it, and it's very, very. It looks like clay, like the backgrounds have thumb pushes in them and stuff like that. But the guy walks with a real cool swagger, and there's puzzling, pick up levers, do that kind of shit. But it's all claymation. That's great. Mostly the indie games are what I'm excited for. I got to see some Hotline Miami 2, which I'm super jacked for. But of course.
Did you see Party Hard?
I did not.
What is Party Hard?
Uh-oh.
Who saw Party Hard? It's like a cute pixel graphic, isometric. You're looking down into this different parties. There's a DJ playing, and people are dancing. There's all these different rooms. And apparently, forgive me if I'm totally off base here, but apparently you're like a serial killer who's going to a party, and you're just basically figuring out how to kill people in these situations without getting caught. But again, it's like cute pixely, and you might like start the gas on a stove, and like someone would light a cigarette, or like blow up one side, and you can drop trees in bedrooms, and it looks pretty great.
Party hard.
I think it'll make a good Twitch game. Jesse Cox was playing it, and it was fucking hilarious.
All right.
Sounds fun.
So have you seen anything?
You'll love it, Zeke.
Anything you want to on the stream?
The big thing, has been Dreadnought. I mean, I've been all over that game lately. I got a good 6 hours with it this time. There's just nothing else like it, and I have such a good time playing it every time I do. I really wanted to make it to the indie section, but I've been slammed the whole time. I wanted to check out, there's the 2D Dark Souls.
So are you talking about Titan Souls?
Titan Souls.
Is it, no, actually, it's called Death something.
Oh, Death's Gambit.
Death's Gambit. Thank you. Yeah, I really wanted to check that out. I've heard nothing but great things.
It's
also,
badass.
there's Upsilon something. Upsilon Circuit, and this is a really interesting idea. I don't know if you guys have heard about this.
Yeah, I think this is fucking amazing.
So Upsilon Circuit, only 8 people can play this game in the world at a time, and everyone else watches. And the people that are watching can influence it. It's a combination of a game and a game show.
Yeah, it's
so
like Running Man, where everyone goes to the webpage like on a Wednesday night at like 7 p.m., right? And so you go to the webpage and you're entered into a lottery. And then it just like lotteries 8 people and throws you into the game. And then you can play against the other players or with the other players.
Yep.
And they're talking about they think it'll take a year and a half before someone can actually make it through every level of the game. And they have like a Max Headroom style like virtual host. It's fucking sweet.
It's a really cool concept. I can't wait to see something like that develop. Can you? Yeah, it's they call it permadeath. Is that what it is? Permadeath. So you have one.
I don't want to play this game if that's the game. I'll die in the tutorial.
But it's gonna be really interesting because I'm wondering, like, I'm sure they want people to stream this game.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, okay, like how could you stream a game that you have no idea how you're going to get into? And if you were just watching it, well, everyone can do that themselves. So it's going to be very interesting to see, like this is one of those opportunities where it's like, is the developer and Twitch, are we going to make a connection? Are they going to be like, okay, we'll have maybe a special Twitch streamer server that is permadeath for Twitch streamers, or something like that. Like, some kind of now maybe they won't do anything like that, but it's the game itself is extremely interesting, and it's really kind of refreshing to see developers just go a completely new direction.
What platform is that on?
I think it's PC.
PC?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, interesting. It's pretty badass.
So I never heard of that.
I mean, I know. Are we going to talk about Overwatch?
That's exactly what I was about to say. Overwatch.
I wanted to mention one other thing before Overwatch, because so this is the first time I brought Mini Wheat to like a PAX, my 9-year-old son, to a show like this, and he was blown away the first hour that we were like walking through the show, where I expected him to be like, I want to play this, I want to play this, I want to play this. And after we walked around, I'm like, okay, we can play anything, like let's go. And we're like walking through the indie section, and he rolls up on Cat Lateral Damage. And
oh yeah.
Now, what is this for those who don't know?
Boom! So Cat Lateral Damage is like reverse Katamari, where this house is set up all nice, and your owners have left, and you're a cat, and you're pissed off. So you have to go and you have to like push books and grab stuff in your mouth and like throw it off and damage everything, and then get back to your like little box before the owners come home. And what totally I was so blown away with and I loved is that the developers of the game were like so stoked that Mini Wheat like knew the game and like wanted to play it right away before the show even opened, but it was pretty sweet.
That's
Cat
awesome.
Lateral Damage. Just
Cat lateral damage.
yeah.
And that
silly.
While we're talking about Mini Wheat, that kid is a pimp, man. When the BC Warrior was out and we were teamed up, throwing scissors at people, we were dominating and embarrassing. And if Miss Vixen, if you're listening, I will embarrass you every single time. I want a rematch at PAX the Prime.
Well, you're not going to mention the fact when I won right before that?
We don't talk about that. That's,
okay.
No, that was warm up. Warm up round.
The 6 games in a row that. Okay. So we'll do questions right after we talk about Overwatch.
Yes.
I think that was kind of who got to play Overwatch in the crowd. Did you guys like it? Yeah. What did y'all think?
I gotta say, when I first saw the videos for Overwatch, I was not really jazzed at all. I thought it looked like Team Fortress 2. I thought it looked like another class-based round shooter. I really wasn't that enthralled. And Blizzard was cool enough to, we got a group of us together, me, Sacriel, Tally. We went over and we got a few rounds in it. So I'm coming up here and I'm flipping through the classes. And I'm kind of realizing, wow, okay, they're each really unique. Like, this is kind of cool. All right, and there's like, a lot of them. Okay, this could be interesting. And then I start playing it. It is really well done. I mean, by the time I was done, 45 minutes later, I wanted to keep playing. Yeah. And as someone who was, to be perfectly blunt, I wasn't a big Team Fortress 2 fan. If you look at my Steam, I think I have like less than 10 hours in it. I can see myself playing Overwatch for a good while. It's a really cool game.
What'd you think, Wheat?
I was thinking about just
thinking about the game itself that you
I
play?
was, I was actually, I'm gonna do it. I'm taking my shoe off so I can show you how horrible this shoe looks because it needs some Blizzard polish. Like, that shit looks so good. Like, how do they do it? Every game, whether it's Hearthstone or Heroes of the Storm or Overwatch, like,
They kept saying while we were playing, like the guy behind us was like, okay, this is really early, and there's like, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, you could release this now.
You could release it now.
Like, all the abilities worked. There was no bugs. There was no graphic issues. It all looked fantastic.
Those
all
turrets
the
need a
worked.
nerf, though.
The turret guy in general, the turrets need a nerf, and the turret dude, the little robot guy, he was. I mean, there's some balancing issues, of course, but I mean, just the overall quality was mind blowing. It was really impressive.
What do you think?
I played the Rocket guy, so as someone who grew up on
Pharaoh?
Quake. Yeah. Someone who grew up on Quake like that, I will always play that person and probably no one else. I will buy all the skins, I will buy the hats, whatever they want to buy, I'm in day one.
Kind of funny, that was the exact character I stopped on too.
Yeah,
with
I
that
think that's
boost
who
up
you're
into the
playing,
air
right?
and everything,
I
that was
played
amazing.
Summer,
Yeah. It was really cool.
Good stuff.
It's good stuff. They said fall 2015, I think, for the beta. Yeah. So should be a lot
Still
of fun.
a ways off, but it'll be big.
Yeah.
It'll be
Let's
big.
go ahead and get some questions here because we love hearing from you guys. So I think this mic is on. They might both be on, but feel free to line up, ask us whatever you want. In reason, I should say.
Yeah. If you ask us anything, we might give you the wrong answer or bad advice.
That's true.
They both work, or at least this one works.
Cool.
I don't know if that works.
And when you ask a question, please preface it with who is your favorite streamer that you enjoy watching. Let's do that.
I'm gonna have to go with Night Blue on this one. I'm a Night Blue girl. Even though we can't pronounce my username.
You guys have the hardest fucking usernames ever. They're
6
so
letters
hard.
long.
Like, just make an easy name. That's all you gotta do. They're so hard. It's not our fault. Sorry.
Little tangent there.
Jeez. Salty. Woo.
I might send like 5 people back sitting down because they may all have the same question. This is mostly the question of starting streaming. So obviously, you're not going to be Night Blue in a night, and you're not going to be Donkey in a week. But what would you say are the absolute essentials for people who want to start streaming who don't have the money to get just Razer everything and high-level graphics and their processor, and they don't have the money, they don't have the time to devote 6 hours a day to streaming? How do you start building something that you can be patient enough and will grow from bare minimum essentials?
Let's get the official Twitch answer here. I'm putting you on the spot.
On the spot.
You speak for
And
Twitch.
if what you
Go.
say doesn't work, you will
How
be
does
blamed.
Twitch respond to this question?
I mean, well,
Where's the streamer's guide to streaming?
education
Twitch
is-
abstains.
So, I mean, the official marketing answer is like, this is one of the reasons why we extended our platforms, like why we want to be able to offer easier streaming on things like the Xbox One and the PS4, because that's like alternatives. And I know even people have said, look, you can't get big and you can't there's no way to grow in that regard. But it's not true because My Goggles totally did it. And he was on the front of the Washington Post and he, put the effort and the work into. And yeah, even though there might be some disparities between what you could do on one of those platforms and a full-blown setup, it's at least a way to get started. But I think one of the interesting things you said that I want to talk to you about is if you don't have 6 to 8 hours a day to stream, because that's tough, right? A lot of streamers really build an audience and a following because they're consistent, they're there constantly, they're putting a lot of time into it. So you just have to understand that, like, even if you can't put that much time into it, you know, you're still going to have growth. It just might come a little slower because you service a wider range of viewers and time zones when you do things like that. There's a lot of like little logistics that go into it. But I would say don't let that discourage you. Just know that, like, you might not have like this explosive growth all the time because of the time you're putting into it. More, it might be like a steadier growth. So I would say dedicate what time you can to do it, but you know, I think like that's just the start of it. Like, you just have to kind of start there, and if you want to continue to add on more time because you think that will help with your growth, then go that way. But
Is there like a general time you could say, like within like 8 weeks you should be like at this benchmark-ish?
No,
Or it's just like
There is no, like, I say it for pretty much any question I get, like, it's the Wild West, so you have no idea what to expect. One day, maybe.
There's no magic bullet, man.
Yeah.
There's nothing, like, you can't point at like anybody and be like, I know what they have that makes them popular. I know what they have that makes it's there's so many random variables as far as
Really
that
is,
goes. Like,
yeah.
no one answer.
And most importantly on that, don't ever let yourself get discouraged if you're not meeting numbers that you set for yourself. There's thousands of reasons that you may not get followers for any particular reason. But now, I could, before I go on, now what that question you just asked is amazing. It's a great question. And we could do an entire show, a 2-hour show, on answering exactly what we could do here. But there's a lot of really important things to consider. It's, you know, are you going to stream as a hobby? Do you want to have fun?
Yeah,
do you want to succeed? Do you want to get viewers the fastest you can? You know, what kind of stuff can you do? Can you have fun playing a game that you might not normally? Like, you know, something that's really hype, that gets a lot of viewers. The big thing with, like, for instance, let me give you myself as an example. When I started on Twitch, I had a $3.50 Walmart microphone. I didn't have a webcam. The only thing I was doing is I was streaming a game called Defiance because the guild that I led for almost a decade wanted to check it out. And I was like, oh, well, I guess this Twatch.tv, whatever, I'm gonna use this. So you know, I just
No, that's
fired
my
up.
website. It involves something completely else.
So I just fire up my stream, and you know, the first 3 weeks of my streaming, I didn't even have a letter in my profile. I didn't even know there was a profile. I didn't care. I would say, the end of my first month, I had 150 average viewers. Now, why was that? It was because one of the most important things you can do as a new streamer on Twitch is positioning yourself. I just happened to get up early in the morning. There were a lot of streamers that were playing Defiance at the time, like Towley, huge streamer. He would play in the afternoons, get a lot of his community interested in it. He played the game I was playing for 2 weeks and then left. Well, that means there's hundreds of people that were interested in the game he was playing that are now watching over this game that I was now doing in. Now, on that other note, if you're a streamer and you're streaming not necessarily for a hobby, but you want to do well, if you turn on your stream and you have less than 10 viewers and you're trying to succeed, you should turn off your stream. The reason being is you need to lay groundwork. You need to network. You need to pick a game. Go to their forums. Put your stream out there. Go to the Reddit. Let them know. Talk to your guildmates. Talk to your Facebook friends. Talk to your real life friends. Talk to your family. Let them know what you're doing. Just having 10 people in your channel can get you on the front page when people look at a game. And that's going to mean that you're going to have exposure. And when you get in that bottom 100, you're just lost. You're just lost. So just that little bit of extra development can be the difference between you getting your break, like I did, and just not going anywhere for months. So it's really, but again, it's important to be very clear that succeeding on Twitch and having fun on Twitch is a balance that you need to keep. And as I have developed my channel, you know, I have my meter has gone back and forth, and I have streamed games I don't like generally, or I wouldn't normally play, just because I've known they're excellent growth opportunities that I need to take advantage of. And it's the kind of thing where, now on that note, don't ever stream something where you're not having fun. Because like my community always tells me, your viewers will know you're not having fun before you do a lot of times. And that's a problem. You don't want to do that. You will lose long-term community members if you do that improperly. But really it comes down to look at Twitch from, this I'll make it as simple as I can. Look at Twitch from every angle. Networking, promotion, what can you do for free? Do you have a buddy that could just throw some basic art together for you? Maybe a real basic overlay for the game you're doing. You know, what's your name? Is it something that's meaningful to you and catchy? You know, like really look at all the things that are free and go from there. And the final thing I'll say, and it's a two-parter, time slot when you start your stream is extremely important, because there are some times on Twitch where every big name that you know on Twitch is probably going to be on. That's a big part. And also, the second part is consistency. Having a schedule that you can put at the top of your profile so people that enjoy you know exactly when they can be there. You know, you keep a schedule for 2 weeks, all of a sudden at the end of those 2 weeks, you notice the second you turn on your stream, all these regulars are there. Hey, that's pretty cool. You know, that's awesome. And you're saying hi to people. And it gets to the point where you're like me now, where when I turn on my stream at 8 a.m. every morning, I'm saying hi to 250 people. I had to make a program to sort out the people that I'm saying hi to. Like, it's absolutely insane. So consistency, positioning, and laying that groundwork is what separates the people that will be streaming for 3 years with 10 viewers and the people who will have 250,000 before they're 2 years old.
And the gentleman's time is up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now that you've scared everyone from streaming with that answer.
No. Anyone can do that stuff. Anyone can do that.
Yeah,
They were
look,
like,
these
we
guys
were
are
totally
leading.
going to stream, but
I'm
man,
sorry
after
about that. I'm
like,
sorry. I'm sorry. Have a good day, guys. Bye. Damn it.
Thank you for the
I'm sorry, dude.
question. Let's get another one in.
How's it going? My name is Minuteman. I've been streaming for about a year now, and League streamer. Been trying to get to. If anybody plays GP, best GP in the world, 3 weeks running now at this point. But I wanted to say that there was mainly something I wanted to ask. When you were making that transition from maybe part-time streaming or streaming as a hobby, like you said in your first month when you went off the guild, you just said, I'll play this game. There are people playing it that want me to. When you were making that transition from I'm doing this as a hobby, this is not my job, this is not my career, into I can do this. I have a following. I have connections. I have people that are cheering me on. When you were making that transition, is there something you wish you knew now, or you should have done that you think of something you could have done to kind of bolster it and just be more comfortable as a streamer, and like something you would go back and tell yourself if you were back then, maybe not believing in yourself? Because I'm working about 2,000 followers, but it's kind of falling off, and I'm just thinking, I want to get better. I want to get bigger as a streamer. What should I do, or what did you do that you think you would
I
tell
think we all
yourself?
have individual answers.
Yeah, absolutely.
We all have
I'm just gonna. I think we just give one example. For me personally, I would have gone back and told myself to be more fucking aware of what's coming out.
Yeah.
And do your fucking homework on it. Like seriously, I was like, oh, this game looks good. I could have had so much more hype built around stuff because it builds with your channel. I am saying, like nowadays, I'm looking what's coming out. And I'm telling my people, I am going to be so hyped for this game that's coming out because I know when it's coming out. I know the story. I've talked or I've emailed with back and forth with the guys that made the game, so on and so forth.
It's
I
exactly
did
what
my
you're doing
homework.
with Hotline Miami too.
That's
exactly
right.
what you're doing.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm so hyped about it. And I'm telling people about it. That's me.
I think for me, and I think it's something that a streamer at any level, whether you're 600 plus thousand followers or 2,000 plus, whatever, is don't watch streams with the intention of trying to understand what they're doing right and what you're doing wrong. Because one, you're gonna fuck yourself mentally. You're gonna be like, well, this person obviously has 500 viewers because I'm terrible at streaming. Like that's the logical, some fucking reason conclusion in your brain. So don't watch other streamers unless you're enjoying what you're watching. Like it's a really easy thing to think about, but more often than not, like I'll watch a streamer and they'll have X amount of views and I'm like, why don't I have that? And then I'll just sit there and like hate on myself for that night. And not that many streamers talk about it, but I think every single streamer deals with that.
Yep.
So don't do
Absolutely.
that. Try to, from the very beginning, try to not do that. And it'll be easier as you continue to grow.
It's a really fine line between using your metrics to your advantage and not obsessing over your metrics,
Right.
especially when you start noticing your numbers dipping. I had what I call like the dark ages of my Twitch career, where for like 2 months, I didn't understand how Twitch worked. I didn't understand the environment. I was brute forcing Twitch. I was streaming for 12 to 16 hours a day. I lost weight. I was streaming, I was going crazy. And here's the worst part. I wasn't doing it properly. I wasn't laying the groundwork. I wasn't positioning. I wasn't even starting at the same days when I did this. I just sleep and stream. And because of this, I was playing games that I wanted to play, but there was nothing on Twitch for them, like Deus Ex 1 and stuff. One of my favorite games, but there's no real market for that when you're a growing streamer. And I would stream for 16 hours and lose 10 followers. And that kind of stuff, you finish a day like that and you're just questioning yourself. You're just going, what is going on? So the big thing is by analyzing what you're doing, focusing on the metrics, but not obsessing over them. But more importantly, understanding that Twitch works in waves. Even the big channels go into lulls between big games, and don't ever let that get you down. Keep doing your thing. Keep getting what you can. Keep your current community entertained and engaged, and you will keep yourself in a position for when something does come along, you can just slide right into it. But the most important thing is do not let that stuff get you down. Have fun. If you're not having fun streaming, then you probably shouldn't be streaming. Like, you should be doing, I mean, the whole point of this is to have a great time while we're doing it. So, yeah.
Anything to add, Wheat?
Collaboration all day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There you go. Thanks for the question.
Hey, I'm Steve, and my channel is Armed Gamer. And kind of actually what you just said, collaboration. What are some good spaces for us to find people to collaborate with? I mean, I know there's PAX here, but like not at PAX. Like, you know, aside from going to expensive conventions. Which, side note, if anyone wants to collaborate, I'll be back over there. Fine. But no, honestly, like, where are some good spaces we can find to do this
Do
collaboration?
you guys think that's where a lot of it has happened? You know, like, we have these interesting scenarios, like, you know, Zeke, you and Man, like, you know, Diction and Gassy and Renee, like, they have these
They're little
abilities, like,
crews, yeah.
right, and like, that's awesome, but obviously we can't necessarily all be, you know, together with the people we want to collaborate with. You know, like, what role play show is a great example, even Drop Frames, right? Like, we can't all be in the same room. So that's always a tough one. But I would say that, like, a lot of the cons is where a lot of this stuff has happened. But I mean, I would throw it back. Like, they're really, like, where does it happen? Does it happen on Twitch? Do you just, like, reach out via private message, or do you hang out in someone's
I
channel?
think hanging
Like,
out on
that's what
someone's
I like
channel
to
is a good thing. Yeah, Reddit's a good thing too.
That's a
that
good place.
I don't think that's been utilized at all on any level when it comes. It's literally like, hey, I'm a streamer with X viewers and no one watches me. Why? Like, that helps no one. So don't do that.
How many ones does it help?
No one.
There you go.
Thank you. That was very dramatic. I like
Yeah,
it.
and, become a member of the community.
Yeah.
That's how I made, like, most.
So I met most of mine.
Yeah, most of my friends just watch channels, become a member of the community, get noticed in their channel. I mean, don't be an asshole unless you're JP. He gets away with it for some reason. Everyone just puts up with this shit.
It's pretty cool.
But yeah, become a member of the community. Become a part of somebody else's channel. Like, I've helped a lot of people, and I will continue to help a lot of people because I feel grateful and I want them to, you know, succeed as well.
Absolutely. I cannot echo more what Zeke just said. You know, I do a lot of H1Z1, played a lot of Rust. You know, these people will be in my channel, they'll get the tokens, they'll be able to get on my servers, and then inevitably in chat, they'll be like, hey, you know, I'm a streamer, can I stream from your server? Yeah, sure, absolutely. And, you know, like, all of a sudden I'm running around in game, you know, I have 4,000 people watching me, and I'm, you know, running around with a guy who's also streaming, and, you know, we're talking about it and hanging out, and all of a sudden that guy who normally has 10 viewers has 150 because he's just running around with me. And it's kind of like, this is the kind of thing where if you are going to take the time to be a member of a community, and most importantly, don't do this for your own good. I mean, find a streamer you like, that you want to become a part of their community. There's definitely a streamer out there you want that to, you want to do that with. And, you know, just do your best to take advantages of opportunities when you see them. But even if you have a good idea, tell them in chat. Pitch it to them. Just say it out loud. Hey, wouldn't it be fun if so-and-so? And if the streamer likes it, maybe he'll pick it up and do it. And if he doesn't, then, you know, whatever. Who cares? You threw out an idea and life goes on. But looking for opportunities like that. I remember at one point on the Rust server, there was 11 people streaming Rust, and 9 of them were on my server with me. And we were running around like a group of 6, and you know, and all of a sudden all these little channels, and one of them had been streaming for like a week. He had 70 people in his channel. So it's the kind of thing where, you know, just like Zeke said, become part of communities, meet the people who will be your viewers, and then go from there.
That's true. Anything to add, Wheat? No, good. There you go. Thank you for the question.
Thank you very much.
Question.
Okay, hi, I'm Debstep, and
Debstep.
I'm really excited, and I'm shaking a little bit. So I wrote my question down.
Breathe. There we go.
Hi, I'm from Virginia, and I traveled with them, and they brought me, and it makes me really happy. I'm too short. Okay, I have a serious question, even though I'm like hyper. I'm a very new streamer, and I'm wondering about how do you set boundaries? How do you maintain them, especially like both like for time-wise? How do you make sure that you're like setting your boundaries of like when you're gonna be like in the real world and when you're gonna be like streaming, also compared to like when you're meeting people? What sort of boundaries do you set for yourself? What do you also advise for girl streamers for boundaries?
Zeke.
Zeke, you want to touch on that?
Hold on. Did you just ask me if I wanted to touch on that? That is sick, and I will not stand for this. No, I'm kidding.
Also,
As far as, what do you mean by boundaries? Like time limits of how long you're. What?
time limits,
like everything
how
boundary
comfortable
wise.
people are you with you in chat? Fangirls, fanboys, because I totally attacked you yesterday and you were fine with it. So.
I mean, it's honestly like it's up to you to set the tone for your channel. People, when they come into my channel, usually within half an hour, if that, they get the tone from my channel. They kind of know what's allowed, what's expected. Like, you can say, fucking shit if you want to in my channel, it's fine.
Yeah.
But I have a posted set of rules, very, very clear. Also, the best way you can get your why am I so fucking violent?
That's so exciting.
No, honestly, the best way that you can get your channel to run right, get mods you trust.
Okay.
Mods are, like, seriously, I owe so much to my fucking mods. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, rules, mods,
Okay.
to boil it down.
Well, now you bring up an interesting point because, like I was talking about earlier, there are times when you need to work smarter, not harder.
Okay.
And like in my 2 to 4 month period when I was doing I was not setting any boundaries, and I was saying I'm just going to stream as much as I possibly can, and success will follow, and it'll be great, and it didn't. So it's the kind of thing where, especially from a when I'm going to stream perspective, really do research on what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish, and then use that information to really limit it. I used to think that taking a lunch break was the sin of Twitch. Because if you had, if you did like a 4-hour block and then you went on a 30-minute lunch, all your viewers, you'd lose half your viewers for the rest of the day. And I would tell myself, I'm just not going to eat.
Yeah.
I'm just going to eat a big breakfast.
Most streamers don't
and I'm just
eat.
going to stream for 8 hours.
They'll stream
and I'm
for
gonna
8
do
hours,
that.
they just don't eat.
I take 2-hour lunch breaks almost every day now. And setting that boundary has made my experience on Twitch so much better. I mean, I can go out and run errands, take a leisurely drive, come back. I'm refreshed. My stream is side benefit. I come back. My stream is a higher quality. You put on a better show. Like don't. If you ever feel yourself, if you're streaming and you're going, man, I am so tired right now, or I am so stressed, but I just don't want to get off. That's a problem. Mm-hmm. That's a problem. If you find yourself going, I'm not really having a good time right now. This is just too much. Log off. Come back when you're ready. It's not something you need to push. Now, the last part of your question is a great question. And honestly, I think this is one of the reasons that I'd love down the road for us to get a larger female streamer on Drop Frames. Because it is a different atmosphere. It's a completely different atmosphere. There's issues of respect. There's issues of sexuality. There's issues that we simply don't have to deal with. And it's the kind of thing where, just like Zeke was saying, you need to be upfront about your rules. You need to be clear on your boundaries, what makes you uncomfortable. And once you get those mods that you trust, which my channel would not be half of what it is without my mod team. I say I have one of the best mod teams on Twitch. I pay my mods monthly. They're phenomenal, hardworking people. And it's the kind of thing where once you get to a point where you lay those rules, you enforce them, your community will start enforcing them for you. Someone will come in and say a snide comment that they've seen purged 20 times, and all of a sudden they're the one shouting down those people. Get out of this channel. You're a dick. Get out of here. And that's great. That's exactly what you want to do. And that's what creates that feeling of positivity, and more importantly, following what your vision is for your channel. There are some streamers that completely ignore their chat. They don't do sub mode, and literally it just devolves into spammed mess. And that's fine, because they're entertainers and they're putting on a show and that sort of thing. Then there's streamers like me that I feel, if you are plugged into your chat, it is a direct expression of your channel. Your chat is your house. And how you choose to run your house is extremely important to how you want to convey your community, the whole experience. So it's kind of just back to the beginning, setting those rules, enforcing those rules, and sticking to those rules, really can be the difference between a decent channel and one that you really want to go back to over and over.
Does that help?
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Hi, I'm Devin from Rochester, New York. My Twitch name is GrayFox0925. first off, I just want to give shout out to the indie mini booth. You guys didn't really mention, you got the mega booth stuff and then the AAA stuff, but we're down there too, guys. I hope I'm not the only one that ditched my team to be here. So what I want to know is, when you have a very small viewer base and you're just starting off, do you have any advice for like promoting viewer feedback and interactivity?
I think setting up like a subreddit is a great and easy tool to do. It doesn't take that long. Just ask your chat, like, hey, what do you guys think about the stream? Maybe like when you're ending for the day or something like that, spend 5 minutes and just get feedback straight from the chat. You don't even need to respond to it. Just sit there and take it all in. Set up like a private email. Things like that, I think, are the best way to get feedback. And there's different types of feedback too. There's like a large thing of feedback, and then there's good feedback. And being able to differentiate between the two is really, really hard. But eventually, once you do it enough, you'll start to understand. And just make sure to never take the bad feedback. Because you don't want to, like, a lot of people will try to say that, I don't like it when you're loud. Most people like it when you're loud on stream. That guy just has shitty headphones. Like, that's literally what's happening. So, Zeke, you're just loud. But yeah, like, getting good feedback is very hard, but just start by asking, and that's usually the easiest way, honestly.
I'd say you nailed it. Yeah, just requesting feedback. Absolutely.
Yep. And if you want more interactivity in your chat and you like run out of stuff, just start talking about things you like. You know, I do that often. I'm like, I watch this movie and this movie I like. You know, just it doesn't have to be necessarily always about gaming. If you just want to just get the ball rolling.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Good advice.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question.
Hey, I'm Imagine 42. Some of you may know me from JP's channel as one of the mods, and it's a great thing that you guys talked about mods because that's my question.
He saw you coming.
Specifically about Co, who just mentioned that he does pay his mods, and we've talked a lot about like paying.
Now hold on.
JP, don't ban me.
Before we continue, I want to make something very clear. My mods do a lot more than normal, and it's more of like a tip. You know, it's just
absolutely.
like a yeah.
So, but my question is, just because we've talked a lot about on Drop Frames about paying artists and paying stuff like that. The question is not why you guys don't, but just in general, why don't you think that's a more common practice to pay mods, to pay editors who make highlights for you, to pay people who provide you with extra content in general like that?
The mods can't be there all the time. Like the same mods can't be there all the time. That's why, because they pop in, they pop out. There's a few that are there almost every day, but I think that's probably why it's not a more common practice, because you pay for art, you get an art. It's like, here's your art. Like mods are like, well, I'm not gonna be here for the rest of the week, you know, and they don't tell you. They're just like, they weren't there. It's like, hey, where'd you go? And they're like, oh, I was on vacation. Oh, great, welcome back. You know, that kind of thing. They pop in, pop out. But if you started paying them, like you would, like I've been in talks actually with one of my mods about like, you know, possibly doing that, making like, you know, giving that mod a stipend for doing services though. Like, cause mods will mod because they like your channel. I do that too. You know, I would continue to do it for free forever because I like the channel. But like, if you want to be like a professional mod, talk to the broadcaster about it. I'm sure most of the ones that you think can afford it will be open to the idea of saying like, hey, I want to do more for the channel. I would do this, and this. Yep. Line it out, just like a business proposal. And they'll go, I would love you to do this, and this. Also, I would like to get paid for it. And that sounds reasonable.
How did that conversation start for you on your channel?
Well, for me, it got to the point when I realized that the mods on my channel were doing so much more than just watching chat and clicking buttons. You know, I have a relatively developed infrastructure with a lot of back-end administration that's required. You know, you have a custom giveaway system. They moderate my TeamSpeak. They moderate my Steam. It got to the point when I realized that there were some of these people that were here 8 hours a day, every day. And some of them I knew even had financial issues. And it's like, you know, at this point, when you really start, you know, getting bigger on Twitch and you start realizing that, you know, I can comfortably give these guys some kickback. It's not going to affect my channel. It's not going to affect my finances hugely to really kind of give these guys something for their work. That's what really kicked into it. Now, a little bit of a unique experience on my channel. Not only does my channel have a lot of rules, but I'm what we call a PG-16 streamer. Now, that's a more unique environment, which invites a large amount more moderation. So it's the kind of thing where, they really have to watch my channel like a hawk, and they do. And, outside of that, I have a mod manager, a YouTube guy, an art guy, a graphics guy, an overlay guy, a video guy, and it's just, all of these people are doing work. They're taking time out of their lives to help me not only live my dream, but facilitating the community that I'm so proud of. And without them, I couldn't do it. So in a situation like mine, when they're doing so much more, so much above and beyond, they didn't even ask me. None of my mods asked me for it. But it was the kind of thing where it got to a point that I had to. I couldn't not do it. It's my living, and they're part of my living. But I do want to stress, a lot of channels don't have a lot of this back-end infrastructure. And a lot of times they'll just, mod 30 people, and that's great for what they're doing. And those people are just watching chat, branding people every so often. And, that's a different situation than what's going on my channel. So I'm not going, every big streamer should pay their mods. That's not what I'm saying, because there's no need to a lot of times. A lot of times mods are just viewers that love the channel, like you were saying. So it's a unique situation for me, but it's the kind of thing where as streamers get bigger and as Twitch develops and as more of these systems are integrated and mods become more plugged into the environment, that may be something that you see popping up more and more often.
Cool. Thanks again for the question. I think we're about to get kicked out of here, so unfortunately that's all we're going to be able to take question-wise, but... one more. You want to do one more? Do we have time? Okay, great. One more.
Hi.
Final one.
Hi, my name is Michael. I'm from California. My show is called The Out of Work Show on Twitch. My question involves, I know a lot of streamers, I'm going to name drop. Lethal Frag, is a great streamer, but he also does cooking. JP, you do role play. As Twitch evolves, do you see your guys' channels, except for JP, like doing something besides video games? Because I'm a storyteller, I do role play as well. But I was just curious to you guys'
What's your
side
next
interest.
What's your next move, Zeke?
What's my next move?
Yeah, on Twitch. What are we going to... Karate? You going to do karate on...
Yes. Actually, it's pronounced karate. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna combine two things. I'm gonna combine karate and karaoke. No, I'm not adverse to doing anything. I mean, if someone wants to come on my channel and play video game music, hell yeah. I just don't know anybody who'll do it. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. I'm open for fucking anything. I don't care. I don't. As long as it's not against TOS, fuck it. Let's go. Let's party.
What about you, Ko?
I'm in an interesting boat here. I'm kind of straddled on the fence about it because I see Twitch pushing towards the music initiative, and I see Twitch that started as the gaming community, for gamers, by gamers, and it's the kind of thing where, like the role play and stuff, that's gaming. That's no question gaming. But when you start talking about, these people that are doing music and other sorts of stuff and art, which don't get me wrong, of course I love what they're doing. I think it's great. But the place is where questions start to rise. Because if you think about it, when these people are doing these things and someone comes to Twitch looking for entertainment, if they are looking at the front page and they see a guy playing the piano and they go and watch that channel, well, they just took someone who may have come to watch a gamer and now they saw something else and now they're doing that. Or it may even be just what is that guy doing? That's not a game, click. And every time that happens, Twitch becomes just a little bit less about gaming. So it's and more importantly, if you follow that line of thinking back, you could even argue that that's hurting the people that are trying to stream games because it's taking the people that would be coming to Twitch for it and diverting them into other sections. But again, there's really good arguments both ways. And I love some of the music channels and some of the stuff that DJs have been doing. I mean, I watch that stuff. I think it's a lot of fun.
Sure.
But because all of this is so new and because all of this, there's no right or wrong, it's much more about which direction do the people that own Twitch, where do they want this to be in 10 years? Do they want people coming to Twitch?
Well, you
for
know, I
music?
mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, well, here's the 10-year definition,
sure.
Co. But one thing I do want to say, because this is something I think that I even preach myself when I talk to these various companies and we talk about different verticals, is that gaming is the core and always will be the core. That is why we are there. That is never going to change. There's never going to be a shift in like suddenly, you know, it is just more music than that. But what I would argue is that gamers have a culture around them. That culture includes comic books. That culture includes movies. It includes television. So, like, we've talked about these things. You know, we sometimes engage. I mean, I talk about comics all the time on my, you know, anime. That's another thing. Like, I think that what we want to embrace is the culture around video game players. Always, right? Because, yes, we love video games as a core. It's why we're there. But there's other things that like people are interested in, and I think that there are opportunities that can help not only broadcasters but also the companies that want to get in on the demographic. So, I mean, it's an interesting balance, right? Because as Co said, you never want anyone to go, oh my gosh, it's no longer Twitch. But I personally, like what I know, I can't ever see that happening because at the end of the day, it's always like gaming priority, and it always will be.
Well, and talking about, like, what I was just saying, actually, I'm almost arguing against ourselves, because Drop Frames is not gaming. It's about the culture. It's a discussion about Twitch culture. And it's certainly, I mean, I feel it has a place here. So, absolutely. I mean, it's you know, it's a very interesting dialogue to have, and I think most of it is going to fall on opinion over, you know, what's really going to happen. But just like you said, these are the people in the driver's seat. So if this is the mindset that we're going to have, then that's all we need to hear, really.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right, I think we're getting kicked out. So thank you guys so much for coming. We'll see you guys on Wednesday.
I love you.